Hey there, everybody. Buffa at your service on Thursday, June, what are we on? 18th? My goodness. June is flying, everybody. The year is flying by. A nice little day in St. Louis, University City. It might rain, it might not. It's kind of like the idea in St. Louis. Every May and June and part of July, it could rain at any time, no matter what. So, today's just going to be kind of a shoot the shit day. Some days, I like to kick off the podcast with a topic, trying to emulate the great Bernie Miklasz, who does that every podcast he does, Monday through Friday. He'll say, today's topic is, and I'll be like, today's topic for me is going to be whatever the heck comes to my mind. And I think people, some readers, some watchers, listeners, whatever you're doing, if you're driving around in your car, listening to this, don't look at the screen. You look at my face and look at traffic. You could crash your vehicle. Please be safe. I think people like the real talk. And so let's get into it. Did a little delivery driving today. I am like, right now, I am, if the delivery truck drivers at Crescent had a bullpen, I am the first arm out of the bullpen. So the manager, our supervisor, Don, comes out of the proverbial dugout and goes, in my case, he goes, the lefty, bring him in. I don't drive with my left arm, but I throw left, so we're going to stick with the baseball comparison. So when one of the regular drivers cannot do it, I do it. I used to be a full-time, and then anxiety got the best of me, and I kind of went off the truck. And then I had to get that kind of under control, because the night before a route or even the day of the route, I would just be like, the neighborhood's gonna swallow me up whole. I'm gonna get eaten alive by a cougar Stepford wife. Anyway, now I'm in the bullpen, so when there's somebody out, I go out. And today was kind of a good route. I went down to Fenton. I went out to O'Fallon. And when you're thinking about the distance between stops, I'm thinking, okay, Fenton to O'Fallon is 50 minutes. But I went out to this place. I sent someone a couple videos, but man, it was absolutely beautiful. Because when you go out to O'Fallon's, I've delivered there a few times in the last 3 years while working for Crescent. But it could be right off the highway. It could be in a big warehouse in a big company, but then when the road is kind of like a regular road name, and you're turning off Route 79 onto this road and going down what seems like a very narrow country road, man, you're thinking, where am I going into? Is it going to be treacherous? Is it going to be like non-box truck like? And it wasn't. I went all the way down to this, man, right out in the middle. There was Field of Dreams crops. I thought I'd see Kevin Costner coming out of the crops. I did not. I would have picked him up. But then I come to this little road. It starts with a D, and you turn into it, and it's just the homeowners. It's their whole area. They have a big garage shed to their left. The house is to the right, and there's this nice little lake right in front of me. And I'm just thinking, man, if this was a place where you could just get off the road and turn off the engine and walk out. There was a little dock, and there was a little barbecue, little carport barbecue area. That is the best. And I just sat there for a little while. Certain stops you deliver, and you can kind of just take a moment, like I'm in the big truck like I am now, and just take a minute. And I did. Shot a video. There's a certain person that I like sending cool videos to, and I sent them to her. And I could have shot like a 30-minute video out there just of all the scenery and all the peace and the quiet. Because, man, that's you don't get that in the city. You don't even really get that in the kind of semi-county. It's so loud, and everything's always so active. But that was a good stop. But then I came in later on in the route and made a delivery to Ladue Lane. And we all know Ladue Road. It runs, east and west, right in the middle, runs up to 270, crosses over under 170. And then you're coming down Ladue Road, and then there's a little bitty road that you make a right onto. And it's big enough for one vehicle and barely big enough for a box truck. And that's what I was doing. I was in a box truck. This is the width of the road. This is the box truck. Width of the road, box truck. So what do you do in that? Well, you slowly make your way up to the number house that you're going to, and you're not bumping. You're taking out tree branches. You're pulling them down. All you hear is boom, 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 boom. You know, because if they don't want to trim the trees, well, I will with my truck. You deliver it. And the thing is, when you're delivering, you're already thinking. You're just thinking, how am I going to get out of here? You're like, it's all of a sudden become an action adventure film, and you're just trying to plot your way out of here. Like, it's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to put the stuff in the garage or wherever it goes, and then I'm going to, okay, how am I going to get out of here? So I was able to back in the driveway I was delivering to, do that little 3-point turn. I had 2 barking dogs ahead of me. They're like, fuck you, get out of here, give us some treats, get out. And so they're running up to the front of my truck, and I'm thinking, all I got to do to really make this June really hit another level is to run over a dog. And see, that's when I would turn my truck around and go back out to that O'Fallon stop, pull the truck next to the body of water, the lake, and put the gas on and get out of the truck and let the truck roll into the lake and never come back again. The next time you see me, I'd have hair. No. I don't care if I had to get a machete carved out from a piece of scrap metal to shave my head. I would do it. You ever see me with hair again, that's because I'm being held against my will without a razor or a trimmer or something. Because there's just, everybody's like, why don't you grow your hair out? Let me just tell you why. Do you see the seating arrangement? This is the stage, and then this is, this is the seats. Just like a little drive-in movie theater. But I made it out of there. No dogs were harmed. Some mulch may have been ran over, but mulch is made to be ran over. It stinks. And then I got back, and then a couple more deliveries. I got my little Starbucks because, a good boy makes all of his deliveries and he deserves a treat. And my treat is a Trenta iced coffee. This is the warm weather drink. I may love hot coffee, but I'm not crazy enough to go get a hot coffee at like 10:30, 11 o'clock on even a day that's not even going to get over 80 or 81. It's just, you don't want to do that to yourself. You take one drink of that hot coffee and you're like, whoa, So I got my caffeine going. We got about 2.5-ish hours of work left after lunch. So the route was good. Any day, any night plans are always going to come with, am I going to do Uber tonight? And yes, I probably will. The tentative schedule right now is to go feed my cats after work because they'll be whiny bitches if I don't. And then walk my pit bull at my ex's house. Stare at my ex's pool, which I have gotten into a couple times in the last couple weeks. When she's not there, she's got a pool in the backyard. The neighbors kind of know me. They're like, oh, he's back. But if it's really warm, I will jump into her pool just for like 20 minutes to cool off. Sport the body around to the neighborhood women like, hey, what's up, ladies, huh? Who wants a hairy beast? Slightly hairy. Not as hairy as I used to be. And then probably won't be any swimming today, but it's not going to be warm enough. And then there'll probably be some Uber driving. Probably go see my parents. I check on them about a couple times a week. It's not really checking on them. It's more like just kind of, it's my comfortable oasis where I can kind of go there and not hear the cats at my apartment. If I was going to chill at my ex's house with my dog, with my Leroy, I wouldn't have to wonder, oh gosh, is she going to come through the door in a bad mood and we're going to get into a fight? And when you're a divorced couple, it's not even worth it to fight anymore. I mean, you're kind of done. So it's like, you just want to abort. Like you pulled a parachute when the tempers start to get high. I'm just like, no. And yes, while she subscribes to this blog, she will not watch this podcast. So I could just totally rip her, little Sicilian midget. If she leaned over in this seat, she'd be like right here, and I'd be like, over there. But, you know, at my parents, I can just sit there, like, on a couch and listen to my dad rant about my uncle, or listen to my dad tell me about this incredibly tragic YouTube story that he's watching about a man who killed his wife. That's what he's always watching now. Dan, you wouldn't believe what this guy did. Sit down. I'm already seating, by the way. I'm already pouring a drink. I bought some bourbon for him. So really for me, when I come over there, I have something to drink other than prune juice and water. And so I got a little Sazerac, a little straight rye whiskey. Cuts the noise right out. Doesn't slam you into the door like some bourbons do. Like if I had this much vodka by itself, oh baby, we are going down the slide and going up and flying off the slide, because I'm gonna have 2 more. But I'll just sit there and, you know, I listen to half of what my dad says. It's kind of like you put a quarter in the machine, he's going to play the whole album, not just a song. And I just sit there and I unplug and I stop worrying about stuff. And then we maybe smoke a cigar, and then we go for a drive. We get more fancy bitch coffee. Maybe it's not as warm and I get the hot coffee. And we drive around and just rant and rave like men. We complain about this, we complain about that. He asked me if I'm seeing anybody. That's always the question now. When you are a single man, everybody wants to know, are you seeing anybody? And I have to tell them no. Like, are you, and they'll say, are you really actively looking? Kinda. It's complicated. That seems to be a lot of people who are single. It's like, it's complicated. I could get into it, but nobody really cares. Nobody cares enough to really hear all that. They kind of just want a simple answer to the question. The answer is no. I'm not a happily single man. And again, it's complicated. But yeah, I can just sit there, answer his questions, and then, you know, we do stuff, and then I go drive Uber. It's kind of like my cooling off phase from working and then feeding the cats, walking the dog, which involves a little bit of sweat. And then I go there and just kind of chill and just relax and go on with my night, and then drive some strangers around. And then maybe go to my little down the street bar, Ryan's Corner Pub, which kind of a nice place. I know the bartenders, they know me. The patrons put up with me. You know, you have a nice, cool friendship with the female bartender. She will make you a whiskey sour in a fancy cup. And a fancy glass, because having a cocktail in a fancy glass makes the whole thing that much better. But that's the idea. What else is on my mind? Another Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer came out, and I don't need to really watch multiple trailers of a movie anymore. I mean, I like to watch one trailer and then just kind of keep it there, because as I said in a previous podcast, they will just keep spoiling things. We know that in the last Spider-Man, Peter Parker had to basically delete himself from everybody's memory, including his good friend and his girlfriend, MJ. The good thing about it is, in real life, Tom Holland goes home to Zendaya. They're married. So it's like, she remembers him in real life, but in the movies right now, she's like, I don't know who you are. And you dress up in a little red and blue spandex outfit and fly around with your little webs. But new trailer came out. There's obviously a few different bad guys. Stranger Things. Sadie, I cannot remember her last name. She's going to be in it. The I can't say little girl anymore, because Stranger Things ended and now she's a teenager, young woman. She's in it. The redhead from Stranger Things is playing a mysterious character. His real name is fleeting me, but Nacho from Better Call Saul is playing a bad guy. If you remember him, he was in Homecoming, and he is going to come back as something else. And then you have, of course, John Bernthal's Punisher. And I love the idea that Tom Holland said in an interview that every time Frank Castle wants to curse in the movie, he webs him up. And of course, Marvel loves that, because the only people that can curse in a movie are Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry, Spidey, you got to get a little older to get to that status. Speaking of Wolverine, and I cannot say enough about the death of Robin Hood. If you want something different, and you want a different kind of Robin Hood tale, You know, imagine a Robin Hood that built this legend up that he was, you know, the guy who stole from the poor or stole from the rich and gave to the poor, and he was charismatic and he was nice. And what if that person rode that reputation, even if it wasn't true, even if deep down, as with so many things in life, the stories that we hear are not always relatable or completely connected to the truth. And that's what the whole movie kind of thrives off of, is that this guy is not a good guy. He's tired, he's old, and he's bad. And he knows all the bad that he's done, but can he be redeemed? Is he just going to be forever cast out into villain terror? Not really a villain, but just, you know, when you're a guy, kind of an anti-hero who is celebrated like a hero, gets a little interesting. That comes out tomorrow or tonight. Jackass, I guess the latest one. I'm not going to say last one because they keep saying that. That comes out next week. Spielberg's film's out. If you haven't watched that yet, I mean, that one or Death of Robin Hood, they are different movies. If you want kind of a Spielberg alien adventure take, watch that one. If you want a unconventional Robin Hood take that's got some brutal kills in it, and it's kind of, you know, odd and downtrodden and kind of, but it's very powerful and very well done, very well acted, then you go watch that one. Or you stay home and, you know, watch Chef, because Chef's always great. What else? Quick baseball note, the Cardinals are 40-32. I think a lot of people thought they would be 32-40, but they're not. They are surprising people. They're playing well. They got some flaws, but for a young team that went from one of the oldest teams to the youngest team, and went from one of the more expensive teams to one of the cheapest teams, they're doing pretty good. So just take the wins, you know, whatever happens. I mean, we are 9 games away from the midway point of the season. That's how fast the season is going. That's how fast the year is going. Again, I cannot believe we're just plowing through June. I remember when it was, you know, January and February. Probably wasn't, March probably wasn't the happiest time of my life, but I remember when it was just early in the year and it was like, oh, hope, and, you know, and we got, and now it's June 18th. I don't know, whatever else. How are you doing out there, huh? How's everybody watching this video doing? Any big plans this weekend? I'm going to try to find a pool. I'd like to bring somebody to that pool because, you know, going to a pool, you know, unless you're going to get in for a quick soak, you want to go with somebody. I mean, it could be a buddy or it could be somebody of the opposite sex. You know, because, you know, if you're a guy like me and you go with you go with a girl, you get to kind of hang out with somebody you like, but also someone that looks good in a bathing suit and you can steal looks at. Even underneath the water, you could be like, she can't see me now. Come out like the, you know, the Green Goblin out of the water. But pools are more enjoyable if you bring someone with you. I don't know if, going to the pool by yourself, I guess if you just want to roast out in the sun, that's fine. But, you know, from getting in the water and chatting in the water, and the mood is always kind of a little bit lighter when you're with somebody in the water. I mean, you're not really worried about anything else. You're just appreciating the water and having a good time. So definitely going to do that this weekend. Outside of that, I don't usually have any plans. I kind of keep them open in case, you know, people want to, like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Want to hang out? I'm like, I don't have any plans. What do you want? What do you want to do? Because you can shock people sometimes by going, hey, yeah, I'm free. What do you want to do? They're like, oh, well, yeah. So you can hang out with some good people. But other than that, I don't know, man. Life is just kind of going. It's going. Every day is kind of a chance to make a little money or be happy, or maybe both. I think we kind of wake up some days and we're just kind of up against it. And that's where you got to lean on some people that you can count on, that have your back, loyal. Like, if you need them, they're going to be there, even if just for a word or a text or a call on the phone or just something. And then there's days where we skate by pretty easily. So today's all right. It is more than halfway finished, and I'm gonna take a few more minutes here in the truck and, I don't know, do nothing. But thanks for watching this pretty much rambling. This is a true ramble, true Bubba's Buffet podcast ramble with no real topic, just a bunch of blah, 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 blah. But some people like to see me do that, so enjoy it as I look at my dirty truck, you know. You always worry about the outside of your truck, but then all that dust gathers up on top of your wheel and your dashboard, and you're just like, ugh. So as I try to keep my truck clean, you have a good one. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for, peruse around the website. There's a bunch of stuff to watch and read. I've been doing more podcasts lately than written articles, and the reasons for that is I'm lazy. And to do a written article, I preferably want to be at home in front of my keyboard and not trying to thumb it on a phone, which I do sometimes. But, a little more of a overloaded mix of podcast and then some written material. So I hope you're enjoying it. And if not, well, go read somebody else or read more and see if you start to like it. Until next time, I'm Dan Buffa, and I'm getting back to work.